I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I wake. Now I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord that I wake again. I wake again, I pray the Lord that I wake.
Welcome to, I was about to say Sisterhood Check-In.
That was Friday.
Welcome to Dinner with the Coaches. I am your host, Nadira Lewis, and I have my amazing co-host over here, Thomas Taylor III. Woo!
Good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome.
We have an amazing show lined up for you today. For those of you that are watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so that you can be notified every time we upload a new video. If you are watching us via Facebook, make sure you click like and share if you are blessed by the content that you see each and every week. If you are watching us on any other platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter, make sure you click like and share also. Thank you so much for joining us. Thomas, I'm just so excited because the topic that we're going to be discussing today is going to be relevant in so many areas of our lives. And I cannot wait for our audience to chime in with us. So if you are watching us, make sure you engage with us. Put it in the chat and let us know how much Dinner with the Coaches has been helping you in your business. We'd love to be able to hear from you. Also, you can also make sure that you can send Thomas and I stars so that we can continue to make content to be able to help you in your business. So we're going to go ahead and watch this video. And after this, we'll be right back with today's topic on how to increase your confidence in your business.
What name could contain such a glory? In the cool breezes of Eden, wrought from the infant earth, one arose, the voice of his creator speaking his identity to life. Adam, man. And as heaven waited short with bread, the creator spoke yet another, Eve, mother of all the living. So it was with Abraham, named in the promise as the father of nations, Peter, the rock upon which the church would stand. The name called to life the destiny within. The name set the stage for all that was to come. And unto us a child was born. And what name could contain his glory? For he was mighty God, as the universe gasped into being, flinging rays of light from his presence to pierce the void, to shatter the shadows to a tapestry of color. And he is mighty God, shattering our darkness, revealing our light, our truth in him. He was everlasting Father when orphaned Israel needed a father's touch. When we, with grief-stricken cheeks, need the embrace of one who never leaves. When we have lost our way to dark horizons, it is our everlasting Father who lights the way home. He is Prince of Peace. When, like Elijah, we need the still small voice in the turmoil's midst. When, like David, we need the melodies of his presence to soothe our troubled minds. He is sanctuary within our trials, shepherd guiding us to still waters. And yes, he is wonderful counselor, God who gives counsel in the chaos, crafting disorder into calm and failure into beauty. He is a voice for the voiceless. He is dignity for the stateless soul. It is he who raised up a lowly shepherd to become a king. He who took the fishermen of Galilee and made them leaders of history. It is the counselor who redeems our lost years, breaking chains that have kept dreams imprisoned and joy confined. The name reaches across eternity, exclaimed by the splendors of galaxies, sung by the passions of angels, roared in heaven's fervor, exalted in creation's unfettered rejoicing. What name could contain him? What title? What soul renowned? For this is our wonderful counselor. This is our mighty God. This is our everlasting Father, our Prince of Peace. What name could contain Emmanuel, God with us, Yahweh, the great I am? What name could contain the Word of life, the light of the world, the King of kings, the Lord of all? We bow to the name that holds every other in its matchless worth. What name could contain such a glory? What name but Jesus? We cry Jesus.
That was
I'm
hot,
trying not to hold
boy.
the tears back because I was
That
like,
was hot.
all I kept thinking about is our conversations. Welcome back to Dinner with the Coaches. I am Nadira Lewis, your host, and I'm just like trying to hold back. I'm trying to like hold back the tears because Thomas, you know how many conversations we've had about you and your name and
Yes,
how
man.
this was just like,
That was fire.
I'm gonna try to hold my tears back.
That was fire, man. Great job. Great job. That was fire.
Did I leave you speechless or what?
Yeah. I wrote a couple of notes just that fast, boy.
I was trying to hold back the
Wow.
tears. I was like, Thomas, I've got to do this for Thomas.
Wow.
Got to do this for you to encourage you on your
Yeah.
journey to your story, being able to
Appreciate
share
it.
your story. And I know that you are in the process of getting things lined up so that you can be prepared mentally and physically for the journey that God has for you. And I'm telling you, you're going to impact a lot of people's lives just in the revelation that God is
Amen.
giving you.
I
So,
received it. I received that. Appreciate you. I received that,
yes,
man. That's powerful.
it was.
I mean, that alone shows you the significance of the power in your name. You know what I mean? Because even though at the end it was Jesus, but you can substitute that with your own name, like
Right.
it's the same power that he left, that he gave us, man. That we take for granted, or it gets lost in translation. Meaning from generation to generation, the power of it constantly gets watered down to where it's not even significant anymore. But that ain't that's not what we're talking about this evening. But we're gonna circle back to that one, boy.
I said this is going to be. I was like, this is gonna bless him when he said it's like, wow.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, today's topic, we're going to be talking about how to increase your confidence in business. And Thomas, you did a live, as you do normally every Sunday. For those of you who have not had a chance to watch Thomas Taylor's live, Visionary Coach live on Facebook, on his page, and also in the Dinner with the Coaches group, why don't you talk to us about some of the things that you've been sharing in your life for those that may have not watched it?
Yeah, I go through different things. I kind of get, a revelation about particular topics. But in the last couple of weeks, I've been having different conversations with individuals about various things. And then, when you look at the this time of the year, right, between Resurrection Sunday, Palm Sunday, Passover, Memorial Day, right? We kind of stay focused and pay homage to, a deity, if you will, just for argument's sake, right? But inside of there, what I've been talking to a lot of individuals about is just simple, basic things that they can utilize in order to move their life forward. Right? Not just business, but just their life, right? So I talk about things like accountability, like why is that so significant? Well, accountability is significant because accountability helps you move in a direction that you say you want to go, even when the feeling has left you of when you first said that you wanted to go. Now you don't feel like going no more, but because there's some sort of accountability to an individual, things of that nature, it helps not just motivate you, but it helps sustain you, right? So talk about things of that nature. This morning, because I kind of was going deep into prayer and meditation about certain things, and kind of God gave me, something simplistic. I just call it ABCs, right? So from a business standpoint, those in business and even network marketing, we know typically ABC stands for always be closing, right? We were taught that, years ago, always be closing, right? Whatever you do, always put yourself in a closing position, right? Well, I kind of want to flip that a little bit this morning, and I took the ABCs and I said, okay, we're going to talk about attitude, belief, and commitment. Still ABCs, right? But the significance of those areas are so deep. I try to kind of stay a little bit above today, but I went a little bit long. But again, when you really start to get into the essence of those things, those simple three things govern our lives, right? Why? Because from an attitude perspective, typically we move based upon how we feel. Well, how we feel is directly proportional to our emotions, right? Well, when you're emotional, that's not a time to make a business decision. So then our attitude is significant. Why? Because when things happen to us in our lives, let's say bad things or things that are not favorable to us, what happens to our attitude? Typically our attitude goes south.
Yeah.
Right? It's almost automatic, Nadira. like we just get this feeling that overcomes us, and now our emotions and our energy starts to change. And typically, one of the first things that come out our mouths is something about the enemy, something about the devil, right? Like I'm telling you, it's just automatic. Well, why is that significant? Because I think sometimes we forget and understand, for those that believe, that there's a duality. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, if you couldn't fail, how could you succeed? You couldn't succeed, how could you fail? Right? If there was no darkness, how could there be light? So when the Creator said, let there be
light,
what was it? It was darkness. So how far is darkness? Well, darkness is the absence of light.
Yeah.
Same God, darkness, he spoke a word, let there be light. Right? So then when you move into, and I talked about Job today, right? Those of you who know the story, if you read the story, I just kind of paraphrased it. And, again, there was a meeting. God had a meeting with his sons, and your man, Satan, showed up. And he said, hey, where you been? What do you mean where I've been? I've been to and fro about the earth, just kind of looking for, seek and see what I can devour. He's like, okay, quite interesting. Well, have you considered my faithful servant Job? Like, come on, man. You got a hedge of protection around him. He said, okay, no problem. Well, here's what we'll do. I remove the hedge of protection over him. You just can't harm his person. And I guarantee you, he won't curse me. He won't change his attitude. He won't change his energy about me. Satan said, I bet you he will. I said, okay, cool. So what happened to Job? Well, he was persecuted, lost his livestock, lost his riches, lost his family. But guess what happened? Because of his faithfulness, he never changed his attitude towards his creator, towards the giver of these things. So he was granted double for his trouble. Now, he could have easily said and just kind of cursed God, if you will, and gave all of the praise, if you will, to Satan. But his verbiage didn't change. He stayed faithful. But what happens to most of us is when those attacks come, we immediately turn to the quote unquote dark side, if you will. And we give Satan, devil, we give him all of this energy. But hold on, wait a minute, hold on. What happens, just think about it for a moment, if God is behind all of this because he wants to get something out of us? See? Sometimes, Nadira, our minds don't go that far. We get caught in what's happening now. And then we start going to a sunken place, a woe is me place. Well, for those that believe, when you really start to dig deep and understand from Genesis to Revelation, in order for you to get something from your creator, there's always going to be a sacrifice first. There's always going to be a sacrifice first. So what happens is, if that thing that you're going through is classified as your sacrifice based upon your words. Why? Because somewhere in that book of Proverbs, it talks about life or death is in the power of your tongue. So when you're going through, be mindful of what you're speaking, because that's important. Because we all are going to get tested in order to be able to move to that next level in life, no matter what it is.
No matter what.
No matter what it is. You know, one level is not better than the other. It's just a different level, right? Why? Because on this journey, we're at different places along this journey.
Yes.
Right? So things that may shake you may not shake me, right? Things that may get me stuck may not get you stuck. You may breeze right through, right? So that's when we talk about equally yoked. We talk about accountability. See, all of those little innuendos start to come into play because who do you have around you, Nadira? Right? Who do you have around you, Thomas? That when sacrifice shows up, meaning there's something that transpired, who are you leaning on physically to help get you through?
That's good.
See, all of a sudden, are you hitting that button in your mind and pressing play, and you pressing the replay button of what they said about you when you was 15, what you did when you was 16, because something is happening to you now at 35, at 45? Are you pressing that button that reminds you of what they used to call you, remind you of what they used to say about you? And you take that past experience, that past trauma, and you bring it all the way to the present. And say, well, I can't do that. You know, well, they said I can't do it. Well, they said I wasn't ever going to amount to nothing. They said I was going to be just like my mother. I was going to be just like my father. Right? You start to rehearse this thing in your mind.
That's true.
In your consciousness. Has absolutely nothing to do with our reality. Right? So when you think about the topic that we're going to talk about tonight, in terms of how do we increase, right, our confidence in business, right? Because that's significant, right? So when you bring it down a notch, right, our confidence is in life, because business is an extension of who we are.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if we're dealing with situations and challenges that we don't feel confident enough to break through, the question becomes, Nadira, why not? Just why not?
Mm.
Where, now check this out. Where did you learn the deficiency?
Mm.
Because lack of confidence is a learned behavior. Why? You wasn't born that way.
Right. Right.
You acquired it somewhere along your path of experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and you adopted it. You picked it up, put it in your knapsack, and you carried it with you.
Mm. That's good.
Because somewhere on your journey,
That's
you
good.
start to look to your left and you start to look to your right, and you saw people in front of you, you saw people on the side of you, and you saw people behind you. And what did you start to do, Nadira? You started to compare and judge
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
based upon them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
thinking that you're running the same race,
Right. Right. Yeah.
not
That's good.
realizing
That's
half
good.
those people, Nadira, they're
That's
not gonna make it to the finish line.
mm.
So you judging yourself according to this woman or this man that could be in front of you, right? You seen the back of them, but you're not gonna see when life hits,
Mm.
and then they veer off the track somewhere,
Mm.
and
That's good.
you're like, hey Mary, like what happened to so and so?
Wow.
Girl, child, man, she just hit a
Wow.
rough patch, man, and you was like, yeah, but I remember back in the days when we was coming through, she was the most successful, or she was supposed to be this, and she had it going on. Yeah, but you
Yeah.
compared yourself to her, but she hit a detour, and she just veered off the side of the road, never to be heard of again,
Wow. That's true.
right?
That's true.
So the topic is very significant. So much so, if you think about horses in a horse race, and I said this before, and the question would be, why do they wear blinders?
Mm.
Just think about that. If you watch a horse, let's say in the Kentucky Derby, why do those horses have blinders?
Mm.
Why? Because the most important thing is they want to make sure that horse is only looking at what's
Mm.
in front of them. Because
Wow.
if that horse sees something next to them, it's going to distract them, and they're not going to get to the finish line.
Mm.
So now, check this out, if all the horses in our race, Nadira,
Mm.
has blinders on, what's the goal? The goal is to get to the finish line.
Finish line.
So what is that finish line for you? Those that are listening, what's that finish line for you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It may not be the same for the person that's next to you, but we spend so much time looking at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and whatever other app is out there, comparing ourselves to the lives of other individuals.
Mm.
And those that know a lot of these quote unquote influencers,
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes, they know most of their lives are a wreck, man.
Wow.
It's a wreck.
Why do you think? Why do you think is it that we tend to compare ourselves more to other people, and we tend to lose track of the lane that we're in and start looking into other people's lane? Why do you think people do that?
Well, because society has created this superficial narrative, right?
Mm.
So society has created, almost like when society talks about, and you hear women always say that they don't need a man,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they repeat that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So society creates this superficial, or this artificial, almost like AI, right? This artificial narrative
Yeah.
that says you really have to compare yourself to
Mm.
a perception in
Mm.
order for you to be relevant.
Mm.
Because people are living a superficial life. Why? Well, why you say that? Well, because
I agree.
when you start to look at it, it's that people want you to believe that they perceive to be successful. Hence, fake it till you make it. How long have you heard that term? Fake it till you make it. Well, how do you know what stage somebody's in?
Right.
If the perception is that they made it, but they really faking it.
Wow.
And then when they really make it, you don't know if they made it because nothing changed.
Wow. Wow.
So perception, right? But this is the key about perception, though, and I teach this, to my team at work, that if you manage the perception, right? You can't control how people perceive you, but what you can do is manage yourself in an order of how they perceive you, right? So if you manage, what I mean by that is carry yourself in a certain way, speak a certain way. When you write emails, use certain etiquette in emails. When somebody calls you and asks you for some assistance, it's okay to go beyond, just do a little bit more to obtain what it's called reputational capital, right? And what that is when somebody asks you to do something, Nadira, and then when you actually do it for them, you've gained reputational capital. Why is that significant? Because there's going to come a time where there's going to be a conversation and or a meeting, and Nadira's name is going to come up, and Nadira's not going to be at the meeting. Based upon how much reputational capital Nadira has with the individuals that's present, somebody will speak up on behalf of Nadira. Such as business, right? Such as life, right? So again, to directly answer your question, when we live a superficial life, right, trying to live up to somebody else's expectations, right, and then we realize, or we see it in the news every day, where we put somebody up on a pedestal, and then they get caught doing something, and it rocks everybody's world. Because people take the human aspect out of individuals. Because the perception is, because they made it to a certain level of success, they're almost close to perfection.
Right.
It's just far-fetched from reality, right? So when we're talking about how to increase your confidence, and we talk about increasing your confidence in business and in your personal life, we have to be solid, Nadira, on who we are.
I agree.
Right? That's one aspect of it, ladies and gentlemen. Then the next thing is, where are we going? Who are we? And then where you going? That's significant, right? Because when I say where are you going, I didn't say where are we going. See, that's a difference. Be solid on who you are and know where you're going. Because if you don't know that, you're gonna tend to do what? Follow the crowd. And now when you find out that the crowd don't really care for you, don't really like you, not really feeling you, now it starts to wean and damage your what? Your confidence. Your confidence. Confidence shows up when you're sure about something. When you talk about lack of confidence and or to increase your confidence in business, one of the main reasons why you would have a deficit in confidence in business is you're not sure. You're not sure. Then realistically, you shouldn't be in business. Because you don't think your projection of lack of confidence is going to be portrayed. And then it's just like blood in the water to a shark. When somebody senses you're not being confident, what are they going to do, Nadira? They're going to try to take advantage of you.
Right.
Because they don't feel like you either you know or you confident in what you're saying.
Right.
Right? Now there's you don't necessarily have to wake up tomorrow being confident. Right? There's certain things that you should be doing inside of your business to grow your confidence.
Right.
There's certain things that you should be doing.
Right.
Yeah, that's so significant. Well, one of those things is understanding who your customer is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We always talk about your niche, right? Like, who's your customer in your business?
Right.
See, once you identify that, now you have a one-on-one connection.
Mm-hmm.
And you could be confident that Nadira fits the profile of my customer. Well, how do you know that, Thomas? Well, I put a survey out there. Mm-hmm. I asked particular questions, and based upon how Nadira answered these questions, mm-hmm. demonstrates to me that she'd be a good candidate for my business. Right? We talked about, putting information, our profile, you and I talked about, those tools that we have that we can help identify where individuals, insufficiencies are, deficiencies, things of that nature. Right? All of those things are important, right? So like I use myself an example, and I'm not shy. Is when I first went live on Facebook, probably almost 2 years ago now, Nadira, mm-hmm. right? My first Facebook live, I mean, I got all types of calls, Thomas, you shouldn't say you said this too many times, you just need to be more confident, you just be yourself, just relax, like all of this feedback. And it was cool, you know what I mean? Because if you don't have, thick skin, then, just don't do it, right? Because, people are going to let you know how they feel. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now, you and it was cool because it was my first time, man. I remember talking to, with our old coach Sean, man. He always had a jug of water next to him. I was like, why does this dude always have water? That first Facebook Live, I felt like I had cotton in my throat, man. Like I kept smacking, I couldn't talk. I was like, oh, I had no water, I had nothing. Yeah. Now fast forward, 2 years later, the conversation is different. Now people are engaging, about to, move into another area, right? Why? Because I'm more confident about speaking and going live now. I could go live like that, where most people are frightened to go live. I can hit the camera, boom, and I don't have a script, mm-hmm. right? I have a topic, but I don't have a script. Right? So for me, my confidence level is strong enough to be able to articulate about a topic off of my head and my heart based upon my experiences. See? So when you look at business, what are you confident in? That you can speak from your heart. Right? Because when you speak from your heart, guess what? Nobody can take that from you. When you speak from your experiences, nobody can debate that. Nobody can debate that from you. Why? Because it's your experiences, Nadira.
It's true.
Right? But here's the trick, and I know we got to go to commercial. When you start to move outside that realm, and you're not so sure, and when people start to say different things, you start to get feedback. It will damage your confidence in certain areas. And that's one of the reasons why it's difficult, to increase your confidence in an area that you're not solid about. You see? Now, I'm gonna go back to my theme for last year was gifts versus skills. So when you operate inside of your skills, Nadira, it can be challenged because it's based upon things that you acquired. So when we're talking about business, ladies and gentlemen, when you start to move inside of your gifts, it will be less challenged because it will be something that your creator has given you the ability to do. So you sit different, you stand different, your posture's different, your tone is different, you articulate different, your eye contact is different. All these things are different. Why? Because you're confident about your gifts that he's given you. So now when you articulate these things inside of your business, people will say, man, I don't really know that young lady, but it's something about her. It's just something different about her. So,
wow.
We're going to go to commercial and we're going to come back and get a little bit deeper.
Wow. Well, you heard that from the visionary coach himself. We'll be right back after this. True healing starts from the inside out. Download our free digital ebook, 31 Days of Becoming, at www.womanofproverbs.com. True healing starts from the I did a broadcast a couple of months ago, and I was saying how if you don't operate in your season, you're useless. So, and I gave the example of the fig tree, right? And I said that how Jesus cursed the fig tree because it was time. IBG Careers is looking for customer service representatives needed to service their customers from home. If you're interested, please apply at www.
I've done some terrible things in my life.
Some of them I chose to do.
And I own these choices.
But others, I just feel like I was swept up in a series of circumstances that didn't involve my will.
They just sort of happened to me.
I've become the culmination of those choices and circumstances.
So I guess I just need to say it.
I really need some help.
Hi, I'm Nadira Lewis, author, life, and business coach, and founder of the Becoming a Woman of Proverbs Wisdom Academy. I help women take their life experiences and turn them into life lessons. I also believe that just like hurt people, transform people can transform people too. Make sure you book a call with me at www.womanofproverbscoaching.com, and I'll see you on the other side of victory.
May not be physically with you.
They're in your church.
But I am sitting next to you.
Different face.
Different name. Same story though, that goes like this.
I've done some terrible things in my life.
Some of them I chose to do.
And I own these choices.
But others, I just feel like I was swept up in a series of circumstances that didn't involve my will.
They just sort of happened to me.
I've become the culmination of those choices and circumstances.
So I guess I just need to say it.
I really need some help.
Hello, my name is Thomas Taylor III, CEO of TaylorYourDreams.com. I actually help individuals expand their vision past their current reality so they can live the life that they dreamed of. If that's you, you can reach out, you can hit me up, and actually have a free consultation. But until then, go ahead and make it a great day.
Hi, I'm Nadira, author, life, and business coach, and founder of the Becoming a Woman of Proverbs Wisdom Academy, and also the founder of the Sisterhood Check-In podcast. I help women take their life experiences and turn them into life lessons for others. Book a call with me at www.womanofproverbscoaching.com, and I'll see you on the other side. Have an amazing day.
All right, and we are back with our second half with Dinner with the Coaches. If you are watching us for the first time, you missed out on an amazing first half where Thomas got to dig in to what it is that we need to pay attention to in order to boost our confidence in our business. And one of the key things he said that really grasped me is that our personal life, our life is an intricate part to our business. And when your life is in disarray and you're struggling with your perspective and how you see your own personal life, it has a huge impact on how you show up for business. So Thomas, go ahead and finish with the second half, because I know you over there boiling.
Yeah.
I know you like a full tick that's ready to explode.
It's so good. I changed my glasses on. I changed my specs on them. Yeah, so for this last, 20, let's just kind of drill down on and give the people, something that they can utilize, right? So when you're talking about increasing, your confidence in business, right? There's really three areas outside of business. It's business, life, and in relationships, right? Now, why is that significant? Because relationships is the new currency in this day and age. Right? Because relationships will take you places where your education and your money won't get you. Absolutely. Right? It's relationships, right? Mm-hmm. So when we talk about, those areas, right? One thing we have to do is we have to know thyself, right? For some reason, people don't like to spend time with themselves, right? That's why they did a study and they said that most people who drive alone in a car can't have just silence. Like they always gotta be on a phone or have the radio on because they don't want to just deal with themselves. Which is the reason why when we went through the COVID period from 2020 to 2022, there was such an uptick and increase of divorce. Right? When you start to break that down, why? Because there was no movement. Nobody couldn't go to happy hour. They can go hang out with the boys, can go hang out with the girls. Now they had to deal with their actual reality. Well, most people don't like to be by themselves or with themselves, much less with somebody else when they don't know themselves.
Yeah.
So now those things start to surface now because now you don't have all these other distractions that don't allow you to deal with your current reality, right? So knowing thyself is important. So inside of knowing who we are, ladies and gentlemen, it's just two simple things that I want to talk about. One is understanding your strengths. So if I ask you, okay, what are your strengths? Right? Now, check this out. Now that may be hard because if I said to most people, okay, what are your weaknesses? Or what are the things you need to improve upon, right? Unfortunately, sometimes people go to the negative first.
Right.
Okay. But again, we're talking about duality, which is what I started with. That there's a duality here, right? So if you know who you are, that's very significant, and understand what things you do well, and then what things you need to improve upon. Right? Because we all have them. Like we all have strengths and we all have areas in our lives where we're deficient in. And that's okay.
Absolutely.
The challenge is where you're spending most of your time. And most people, Nadira, spend most of their time in the areas of their strength. Why? Because it's easy and it becomes a comfort zone. right? If I have to go over here and if I have to think about and deal with my shortcomings, my improvement, things that I kind of, a little bit weak in, it's going to take more time. It's going to take more energy. Well, the reason why that's significant is when you go to the marketplace, guess what's going to happen, Nadira? Your weaknesses are going to get exposed. Now, why is that significant? Because, oh my goodness, man. Once your weaknesses are exposed, it's going to be in direct proportion to what? To your confidence. To your confidence, because you don't like what they said about you, because you don't like how they said it to you, because they said that. Now your confidence is shaky, and now we can't sustain and increase our confidence. Why? Because our weakness and all our shortcomings was exposed. So we had a conversation, Nadira. I said, take some time and list for me your strengths. Okay, Thomas, I got that done. All right. Now do the same thing for things you feel that you need to improve upon. Right? It might take you a little longer, but okay. Well, hold on, Nadira. These are some things that I wrote down that I see based upon our experience together that I feel that you can improve upon. So when you say, look at the list, you're just like, yeah, I agree. Okay. Now, why is that significant? And I taught this to my team for years. That's significant because if you take my list that I see about you, and if you agree with my list, you know what that means? That means you knew these things before I brought them to your attention. Right? Because if you agree with them, then there's some truth to it.
Right.
Well, if there's some truth to it today, guess what? There was some truth to it yesterday. If there was truth to it yesterday, there was some truth to it last week. But you thought nobody's paying attention, though. But once you agree, okay, yep, that these are some things I need to improve upon. So then I will put it down. I say, okay, Nadira. So without me telling you that, without us agreeing, why aren't you working on those areas? See?
That's good.
Yeah, because we spend most of our time in the areas that we feel most comfortable. If you have to work on these areas, it might be a little bit discomforting to you. Right? Because now you have to deal with some issues, maybe some challenges, maybe some trauma, some things that you just push back that you never really want to deal with, but they show up though.
Right.
So, and I'm gonna do a probably a live or something, a training on how to beat the masses.
Oh, I like that.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Wow.
I've been Nadira. I've been training on this for years. At work for years. How to beat the masses, and it's easy. Right? It's not simple. It's easy. And I'm gonna break it down. But how to beat the masses? Because for some reason we always feel like we're competing.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, once I break these steps down, you realize, and if you follow these steps, what you're gonna realize is there's no competition. No competition.
Wow.
And I've done it, and I've trained on it, and other people have done it that took the training, and now they're training on it.
Yeah.
So much so, one of my guys that used to work for me, I talked to him about change, right? So when you understand change, and this is another part of our training. When you understand change goes through 3 stages: storming, norming, and performing.
Storming, norming, and performing.
Yes. So anytime change is instituted, change shows up, it's going to go through those stages. So the first stage is storming. right? So you're a new supervisor, you're a new manager, you come in, your people, the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to be storming. So there's going to be one or two individuals. Oh man, I don't know why we got to do this, man. Why didn't Nadira have to come over here? We was doing fine. I don't really agree with what she's talking about doing. I'm not really, kind of feeling that. That's storming. Right? So change, that's the first phase, is storming. Then norming, right? Norming says, well, it's just not that bad. We found some workarounds, we found some different ways to do particular things, so it's kind of not that bad, right? That's norming. And then performing says, hey, that's just the way it is, right? We have to make sure we get it done that way. That's just the way it is, right? So I've always taught my team this, right? Because when change happens, Nadira, if you understand just those 3 simple steps that I just taught individuals, if you understand those, guess what? You already have a competitive edge. Because when change comes, you already know what to do. You already anticipating those 3 phases. And you can watch those phases happen. So I taught this, right? So one of my guys, he was going back to school for his 2nd or 3rd master's, right? So he was here in Atlanta, so he was in class, and his professor said, hey, I want to teach you guys about change. So he was like, change? He said, yeah, I just want you to understand that this is a professor, that change goes through 3 stages. Storming, norming, and performing. He said, Thomas, I almost fell out my chair, man. He said, I almost fell out my chair. He said, I could not believe that this professor was standing up there in class telling me what you've been telling me for years. I said, well, maybe you believe it now because it's coming from him. I don't know what to tell you, man, But, he kind of really understood. So when you look at those particular things, what I was talking about was, if you know that you need to improve in certain areas of your life, the question is, what's stopping you? Most people, Nadira, are waiting for permission.
That's true.
Most people are waiting for somebody to tell them.
Right.
You know what, Nadira? It's okay to work on these areas.
Right.
It's okay.
Right. The need for validation. The need for validation is not being sure that you have everything that you need to move forward. And a lot of the times that comes from growing up and having to have either parents or spouses where you never really been sure of your decisions. I had that situation, I know somebody who goes through that now. Their childhood, they were always they never had an opportunity. We think as parenting, telling children do as I say is going to help them to choose to make wise decisions. But part of them making wise decisions is putting them in scenarios so that they can learn how to trust how to make choices and how to trust their decision making. And so sometimes as a child, when you don't have that opportunity to make decisions and make errors also, then what happens is you learn to depend on what people telling you what's right or wrong. And so now you grow up as a grown adult, not feeling confident and being able to make your decisions because you are used to people telling you when to go, when to stop, when to go, when to stop.
Yeah, hence, I mean, right there is an answer to our topic, because right there will either increase or decrease your confidence. Right? Because if somebody unfortunately tells you something of a negative connotation, you're gonna shrink into your shell. Right? You're not gonna stand with your shoulders back, your chest out, your head up. You're gonna put your head down, you're gonna be looking at your shoes, right? Like all of these different things are gonna transpire, and they're all a part of you not really being confident in that particular area. Right? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if we wait for validation, and validation does not come, what happens?
Wow.
See that? We We
That's true.
and what happens is it tends to increase our level of frustration
Mm-hmm.
because we know that we're better, if you will, than where we are, but we just haven't found the right vehicle or mechanism in order to bring those things inside of us out.
Right.
Hence, ladies and gentlemen, what we want to talk about on this last couple of minutes is the name of our show, Dinner with the Coaches. So apropos. If you don't have a coach, those that can hear me, if you don't have a coach, or if you never aspired to have a coach,
Mm-hmm.
that's an area that I promise you will be worth its weight in gold, right? Now, there's a lot of different choices on the internet. I mean, everybody and their mama's a coach. You have different people with all different types of programs. So I really would, suggest you do a lot of research, right? A lot of due diligence about the coach that you choose, right? Whoever it is, right? But I would really recommend you get somebody to help guide you, right? Because a coach will pull you, will stretch you, will hold you accountable, right? We're talking about, coaching, right? Right? When you really kind of understand really what it is, right? A future focused, goal orientated process, right? It's focused on the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's so significant. Why? Because most of us live our lives based upon the past, right? So coaching is about a future focus, right? So again, if you look at and if you study, top performers from your Tiger Woods to Venus and Serena, Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, if you study those individuals, there's something that they have in common, Nadira. Right? Just study them.
Mm-hmm.
They all have a coach,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what level they on.
Right.
Right? If you ever had an opportunity to say sit down with Jay-Z, right? Billionaire. I think he up there like 2.5 billion. And just ask him a simple question like, does he have a coach? And he probably has several coaches in different areas of his life,
Mm-hmm.
right? For those who've been where he's going, or somebody who knows how to get him there. That's a coach, ladies and gentlemen. But we live our lives kind of squandering, thinking that we don't need a guide. We got it. We can handle it.
Right.
Right? And unfortunately, we say to ourselves, we trick ourselves. We say, why would I pay somebody to tell me something that I already know?
Right.
The problem or the challenge is that coach will help hold you accountable for what you think you know. Right? And then create a mechanism, a plan, strategic action plan, some sort of plan to help you obtain certain goals. Right? That's why in coaching we talk about SMART goals, right? You guys can look that up, right? Specific, measurable, obtainable, timely, all
Mm-hmm.
of those things. Those things are significant, right? Because it keeps us in due bounds to have small wins, small successes. But a coach, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very significant to your level of success. Right. So just think about this, and then I'm gonna stop. We started talking about how to increase our confidence in business. If you had a coach, if you wasn't confident in your business or confident enough, and if you had a business coach,
Mm-hmm.
right, who can help you two things. One, navigate obstacles, right, in your line of business, number one. And then number two, shrink the time that it would take you to get to a successful point of your business because your coach either been there or knows the path.
Right.
Right? So you got to ask yourself, is it worth the investment? Right? And for me, it's always going to be a yes. Right? Because you point me to a person, I don't care who they are or what their name is, who never invested in themselves and never sacrificed and made it big. You show me that person. You tell me who their name is. Like, I've never met him, nor have I ever read about him. There's always going to be a level of commitment, right, which is direct proportion to a level of sacrifice. And that sacrifice could be monetary, but it's a sacrifice, right? Now, for some people, guess what? $300 is a sacrifice because they don't have it. For other people, $3,000 could be a sacrifice. For other people, $30,000 could be a sacrifice. It's all relative. It's all relative.
Right.
Well, hey, Miss, we at the top of the hour. You know, we can go because we're passionate about this. We're passionate about this.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. And I just want to add real quickly before we end our broadcast that, you know, one of the key things that we need to do is improve your knowledge, because confidence, you know, when you improve your competence, your confidence and grows. So a lot of the times we don't take time to educate ourselves on the latest trends and techniques and best practices in our industry. So if you're in a particular industry, if you're not, it will affect your confidence if you're trying to coach or go into an area of business that you have no information, have done no research or anything to understand that industry and what the needs of the people that are in that industry want. That will definitely affect, you know, you talked about it from a personal level, and I think that's so critical, because you know, if you're timid, you're not going to go and approach people and do the research, because you're going to be timid. You're going to be looking at all your past traumas and things like that. But when you improve your skills and your knowledge, then you become a lot more, it increases your competence, and your competence will then increase your confidence. And the most important thing that we need to express is that you got to surround yourself with people that are positive. Sometimes when you're around people that are just constantly, you know, pulling you down, the crab mentality, that affects how you see yourself when you're around people that are constantly what I call dream killers, you know, constantly telling you what you can't do, you know, telling you that you can't do it because they haven't done it. They haven't had the courage to try it. And last but not, well, I have one more after this, focusing on your strength. And you talked about that earlier, you know, being able to identify your strengths and then build on it. You know, it's easy, like you said, to recognize your weakness, but don't let them define you. You know,
Amen.
Focus on a positive one and take risk. Don't be afraid to take risks in your business. Don't be afraid to take risks. You and your risks, you won't take risks if you have issues with your own life. If you're scared to deal with issues in your own life, it's going to be definitely difficult to take risks in your business, because you're going to feel like, oh, you know. But I think those are just some of the things that I wanted to just highlight, you know, to add to what you're saying, is that you've got to get out there and you've got to do the work. Nobody's going to do the work for you. There's something you got to do, the healing. I have a 31 days of affirmations, you know, where if you are struggling with seeing yourself from a different perspective, I have affirmations. I have stuff all over my desk to, you know, every day to constantly remind myself of who I am, because I don't care how great, like you said, we have coaches, and you need affirmations. You need a constant reassurance into yourself. Because I always say, Thomas, it doesn't matter what people scream about you loudly. It's what you say to yourself privately.
Amen.
So people can tell you you're great and you're awesome and you're doing the best, but what are you saying to yourself is what matters. Any final words or thoughts?
Yeah, that's good stuff. We can leave it at that. You know, if you guys want to follow me, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Thomas Hiller III. You know, you could DM me if you want some more information. My website, tailoryourdreams.com. You know, let's talk. Let's talk about it. You know, Nadira and I are doing some great things. We got some great things in store for this year. You know, so let's talk. Let's not be afraid to have the tough conversations. You know, because I think inside of the tough conversation come growth. You know.
Absolutely. And you can also visit Thomas and I on our web at www.dwtc.info, where we can coach you as a team. It's always good when you have both perspectives helping you to be able to identify. It's almost like we're a double-edged sword. You know, we got We've got both sides of the coin so that we can be able to help you. So make sure you check out our website, www.dwtc.com. And I believe that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are watching us on a replay, make sure you hit #replay and make sure you click like and share and let us know exactly how Dinner with the Coaches and Thomas and I have been helping you. We'll see you next time. Have an amazing week.
True healing starts from the inside out. Download our free digital ebook, 31 Days of Becoming, at www.womanofproverbs.com. True healing starts from the